I have been a dedicated theoretical physicist for well over 4 intense and incredibly demanding decades. Throughout my lengthy career, I have stared into the profound, crushing abyss of supermassive black holes. I have meticulously traced the chaotic, violent birth of distant stars through the lens of string theory. And I have calculated the inevitable cold heat death of entire sprawling galaxies. But nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, could have possibly prepared me for the staggering, reality-shattering nature of what I am about to tell you today. Before we begin this profound journey, I need you to do something absolutely essential for me. Please comment your specific city name below and tell me, have you noticed anything unusual in the night sky lately? NASA is currently quietly and aggressively monitoring reports from civilian observers around the world. And your seemingly insignificant observation might be far more critical to this unfolding cosmic scenario than you realize. The separation of 3I Atlas. 3 months ago, something happened that sent shockwaves, true, measurable shockwaves, through every major space agency on this planet. It involved an object we have been tracking for several years, an interstellar visitor known as 3I Atlas, a solitary comet that entered our solar system from the vast, cold darkness between the stars. But this is not merely a story about a simple comet. This is a story about what transpired when a massive fragment of that cosmic traveler violently broke away, defied every known law of celestial mechanics we understand, and began moving toward Earth with what can only be described as terrifying, calculated intentionality. I want you to understand something absolutely critical before we go any further. When I use the term broke off, I don't mean it crumbled due to random solar radiation or simple gravitational stress. I mean it separated cleanly, geometrically, as if it were precisely severed by an invisible scalpel operating at the quantum level. This highly precise separation occurred at exactly 4:22 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time on September 17th. The fragment measured approximately 847 meters in length, roughly the size of 3 massive aircraft carriers stacked end to end, and its surface exhibited exotic properties that by all known physics should not exist on any naturally occurring celestial body. The initial discovery was made by Dr. Elena Vasquez at the remote Atacama Observatory in Chile. She was conducting routine spectroscopic analysis of 3I Atlas when her instruments detected a baffling anomaly. The parent comet's light signature suddenly split into 2 distinct conflicting readings. At first, she suspected a severe equipment malfunction. She recalibrated. She ran extensive diagnostics. The dual reading persisted. Within 6 short hours, telescopes in Hawaii, South Africa, and Australia confirmed exactly what she was seeing. A fragment had indeed separated from 3I Atlas. The separation was too clean, the fragment was too large, and its light signature suggested impossible properties. But the most terrifying detail was this: it didn't drift. It executed a deliberate course correction. Natural objects don't make decisions. What broke off wasn't a rock. It was a mission. Defying the laws of physics, the fragment was not following a predictable ballistic trajectory. In our universe, when objects violently break apart in space, they follow ballistic paths determined solely by momentum, gravity, and the conservation of angular momentum. It's Physics 101. This fragment ignored those rules entirely. It executed what can only be described as a controlled course correction, a deliberate, unmistakable change in velocity and direction that required a massive energy expenditure. Natural objects absolutely do not do that. Spacecraft do that, probes do that, technology does that. NASA assembled an emergency task force within 18 hours. Michio Kaku, was brought in as a consultant along with specialists in planetary defense, quantum mechanics, and exobiology. We also included experts in artificial intelligence and machine consciousness. I remember wondering, why would NASA possibly need AI specialists to analyze a piece of rock from interstellar space? That question profoundly haunted me during the entire flight to the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, JPL. The highly classified briefing took place in a small, windowless room 3 floors below ground level. 47 scientists, military personnel, and government officials sat in absolute unnerving silence as the data was presented. What we saw on those screens violated our understanding of natural phenomena so thoroughly that several colleagues simply refused to accept it as reality. I watched a woman with 3 PhDs in astrophysics start to cry, not from fear, but from the sudden crushing realization that everything we thought we knew about our cosmic isolation might be catastrophically wrong. The fragment was visibly decelerating. In the vacuum of space, objects do not simply slow down unless purposefully acted upon by an external force. The fragment was generating a counterthrust, shedding velocity in a manner that strongly suggested controlled, managed propulsion. The energy signature was unlike anything in our technological repertoire. Whatever was slowing this object down operated on fundamental principles we have yet to discover. My colleague leaned over and whispered, "Michio, this is first contact." The decoded warning. The fragment's surface was emitting a sophisticated signal, a repeating pattern of electromagnetic pulses in the X-ray spectrum. The pattern cycled every 1134 seconds with atomic clock precision. It was mathematical, it was structured, it was without question artificial. I vividly remember sitting in that briefing room, my hands trembling as I held the printout of the signal analysis. Beside me, Dr. Yuki Tanaka whispered, "Michio Kaku, this is actually happening." I wanted to find a neat, natural explanation to preserve the comfortable, decades-long illusion that humanity was alone. But the data doesn't care about our comfort. The signal was decoded within 48 hours. The message was simple, chillingly elegant, and ultimately more terrifying than any overtly hostile transmission. It was a warning, not a threat. It identified 17 civilizations within a 200 light-year radius, all tragically extinct, all destroyed within the last 50,000 years, and all sharing one fatal characteristic. They had all reached what the message called the threshold of universal awareness. As a physicist, I have theorized about higher dimensions, but nothing prepared me for the concept that technological advancement might be cosmically regulated. The message outlines forbidden technologies, artificial general intelligence, quantum consciousness, transfer molecular matter, replication faster than light. Communication. Humanity currently possesses 2 of these technologies and is aggressively building the third. The fragment is not a weapon of war, it is a galactic cease and desist order, the 42-day countdown. The fragment's final destination was confirmed with 99.97% certainty. It is heading directly for the James Webb Space Telescope successor, a quantum observatory at the 2 Lagrange point that we haven't even announced to the public yet. This facility would allow us to communicate across vast cosmic distances, marking us as universal. The fragment will arrive in just 42 days. I'm not talking about flying saucers. I'm talking about the possibility that evolution itself is actively monitored and that there are severe consequences for reaching too far, too fast, without cosmic responsibility. 3 days after the separation, people globally began reporting identical vivid dreams featuring the same mathematical symbol, a spiral. This symbol is embedded in the fragment signal. First contact didn't happen with telescopes. It happened directly in the minds of millions. I lie awake thinking about those 17 extinct civilizations. Were they simply too curious, too ambitious? The fragment will reach Earth's orbital space in exactly 42 days. Every major government is preparing. The public is being kept in the dark, but behind guarded doors we are grappling with whether we are worthy of survival. As I often say, the cosmos is like a grand symphony of strings. But what if the conductor has decided we are playing out of tune? In 42 days we will know. We will either be welcomed into the cosmic fold or take our place as the 18th footnote in a catalog of failed species.